Hello, everybody. Welcome to Popcasts on the Rocks, episode 178. We're a pop culture podcast. Talks about all the fun things that we're interested in, movies, television, you name it. And we're here today to talk about Dune. My name is John, and I'm joined as always by Andrea. How's it going?
Good, good. Happy 2025. Good to see you this year.
Yeah. Does it feel different?
Gosh, no.
Okay. Yeah. We're if you guys have been following us, we've been talking about Dune Prophecy on HBO Max. So we're gonna finish up that discussion tonight. That's gonna be exciting. Hopefully you've been watching that. What did Alan share here?
Doom.
Doom. Doom is
Doom.
oh,
We're gonna have
did I
to
kind of say it like did I sort of say it like that? Doom? I might have.
I didn't think about it until the picture popped up, and then I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to watch that pronunciation.
Yeah. We're talking
Be
about
very clear.
Doom Prophecy. That's a
Oh, Doom prophecy. I
mishmash.
mean, that sounds like plausible anywhere, anything. Like you could attach Doom prophecy to,
Yeah.
any franchise and just be like, this is a mini arc.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. Nope. Apologies, everyone. I'll get it together. Dune Prophecy.
I'll get it
Frank
together.
Herbert's lock it in. Lock it in, John. That's
Lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up right now. Oh God, I'm aging myself right now.
we'll
With
get into that
Wedding
later.
Crashers reference. Sorry.
No, yeah, it's been a long time, long time. I shared this. Speaking of age, I shared this meme with some of my anime friends from the gym, and it was like, one of those things. Nobody, and then me in at 2 in the morning in
Oh,
2003 or
yeah.
whatever, and it's like the Inuyasha ending and stuff like that playing. It's like these guys were probably, I don't know. Let's see, 2003. They were in diapers or something at that point. So,
Oh boy, yikes.
yeah. So like but I figure it can apply for any time period, potentially something like that. Maybe they
Yes,
get
the
the
spirit
the
of it
gist.
does.
Yeah, right. So, anyways, yes, it is 2025 now. We're going to talk some about our favorite things from 2024
Mhm.
and what we're looking forward to in 2025. If you're in chat on any of the places, YouTube, Kick, X, Twitch, jump on in. Let us know your favorites from 2024, what you're looking forward to in 2025, all that sort of thing. Um, add to the conversation. So we'll get all that before we reach Dune prophecy. But preceding all of that, let's talk about our weeks and drink holidays.
For sure. Well, it is a new year, but we have to close out the official business of the old with the last day of the year, 2024, December 31st. Um, celebration rolls on. It was National Champagne Day for, I think, reasons that don't even need to be said. So,
Well,
yeah.
yeah, no,
So,
when champagne became the celebratory drink of choice, that'd be the
yeah, that would be interesting to know. I mean, everything has that's traditional now has roots in, one way or another. Like brides wearing white was officially started with Queen Victoria and her white wedding dress when she married Albert. So, which is a piece of trivia that I would know as just like a Victorian era scholar.
Mhm.
But it's a fun fact to whip out. So,
Yeah,
yeah, there's gotta be some sort of story behind, champagne as the official, toasting beverage of
good
celebrations.
marketing agents in Champagne, France.
Right? Somebody somewhere, really was on it, because,
Yeah,
yeah, it's so synonymous now with, celebratory, like, you wanna celebrate anything, you send a champagne emoji or,
yeah,
I mean, yeah, obviously you do it in real life too, but you know what I mean, like, you just
yeah.
send that and somebody gets it, it's a celebration, so.
Yeah, it's like, Christmas in Japan, they have fried chicken,
Right,
and
right.
so it's maybe we talked about that before, but it's a funny how that was just like a marketing push by KFC,
Mhm.
and everybody, like, kind of
And
jumped
it's
on that, and now it's just not even KFC, just in general, fried chicken for
yes,
Christmas. That's
it's
their
it's so
tradition.
ubiquitous. Yeah, it's amazing how often that comes up in, like, anime and or, live action, like K-dramas and things. It's just like, some girl who's, like, wistfully like, "I just wanna find a guy to, on Christmas to share fried chicken and a cake with," and, like, that's the thing. That's, like, the
So
thing.
I didn't know it
You know what I mean?
expanded to South Korea as well. I didn't know that was,
It's yes, yes. I mean, I
okay,
think it's, J-drama, obviously, but, like, yeah, it's expanded
okay,
out into, like,
yeah.
that's a sign as well.
I'm
Crazy.
like, I can't fight that. I'm not gonna complain about fried chicken for Christmas. So,
Fried chicken and cake? Yeah, that's a good
mhm,
night.
yep.
I
All
mean,
right,
clearly, I
let's
can't let go of Christmas either as I have this, like, Santa jacket. Don't tell my
yeah,
kids.
what's Santa doing there?
It's,
All your kids saw mommy kissing Santa Claus.
I know, right? They actually in this case, they better not have because, it's a Santa suit jacket that, Chris's school used for their mascot, the husky, and so, like,
Mm,
there's, like, some kid dressed up in the husky costume and then also dressed up in a Santa costume, so
okay, nice.
definitely nothing going on there. But still, Everett would be devastated because that was her favorite part of the holiday was getting to high five the husky Santa, so
Okay, sounds fun.
but yeah, That is the end of 2024 as far as drink holidays. The beginning of 2025 thus far is very quiet. We really have two things. If you're celebrating the new year, but taking a break from alcohol, it is dry January. So treat yourself to a nice mocktail any day of the month. I have in a couple situations just where I was like, I feel like something a little different other than water today, but I don't really just feel like alcohol. So a mocktail. It's fun
Okay.
to get creative sometimes. So
Okay. Okay.
tonight I am not mocktailing it, but other nights I have.
Mhm.
Otherwise, January 1st was Bloody Mary Day. Also, I feel like pretty self-explanatory. A lot of, hangovers post New Year celebrations. So hair of the dog to greet the new
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, we need to like add some drink holidays to early January, I think.
Yeah, the next one isn't until the 11th. So, and I
Let's
and I
come up
hate
with
to
some.
do anything early. I'm only like in
Yeah.
review. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
Okay. Well, are you celebrating either of these things?
I am not. No. Um we don't have champagne post Christmas and New Year's around the house, and Chris is not a Bloody Mary person. He
Okay.
hates them with a passion. So we rarely have things around the house unless I'm really jonesing. Um, and even then, it's usually like when I watch like an NFL game and I want a Bloody Mary.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, so I am not celebrating either of these things. I am, however, since we are doing a little bit of retrospect of 2024, um, giving a nod to something big that happened in 2024. So I'm drinking a G&T tonight, and the gin is a Scottish gin from one of the places that we went to on our
Mm,
trip to Scotland, which was one of my
nice.
favorite things that I did this year. So that felt
Sure.
very apropos. So,
Yeah.
cheers.
Very nice. Um, yeah, that's fun. I also normally, as I've said before, don't keep champagne around much. We gave away our remaining bottle we had to my parents as a thanks for watching the kids. So,
Nice, classy.
yeah. But I am using my Dune glass.
Very
Uh,
nice.
I had Tara get this for me from the Alamo.
Very nice.
So, and then
You
I'm
have the
making a
popcorn bucket?
no, I do not have the popcorn bucket.
Dang. It'd be so
I
appropriate.
I definitely wanted some of these popcorn buckets. When we went to Dune, I was just trying to get the best screen I thought I could, and it was not AMC, which is the only chain that had those popcorn buckets. So
Mhm.
I think I would have picked an AMC if I knew that. Now I
Yeah.
know AMC is doing the things, but we have a
Yep.
local theater that was doing at least some unique popcorn buckets. They had the Mufasa or whatever one, so they
Sure.
had something. But
Did you go see
any
Mufasa? Or
no,
just
I
did you know that
I
they had
just
it? Okay.
yeah yeah yeah. I saw a different movie in the theater, which I will bring up
Okay.
shortly.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
I'm
not that
making
you
another.
can't, it just I definitely thought, like, I don't know you as well as I think I do, if that was,
Yeah,
like, one of your picks,
it's
you
like,
know?
oh, I managed to get out of the house and I'm going to Mufasa.
That's that's what I thought. I was like, "You're gonna have a night out, and Mufasa's your pick." It just
No,
you know?
yeah.
Okay.
Um, I'm making another cocktail from my Gotham City cocktail book. Just
Alright.
frantically
Tell me
looking
about it.
through, trying to find something. This one is called King Green. Killer Croc was once a sideshow
Ooh,
attraction, wrestling alligators in poorer towns across America. But then the scales started growing on his skin. Rumors indicate the cocktail appeared when Killer Croc's fame first spread as the new boss of the underworld. The combination of lager, rum, and simple syrup makes for a smooth start, while the lime offers a bold and refreshing finish. This is not a kind of cocktail I would typically have, and this is
yeah.
but I'm using so it's 1.5 ounce white rum, 4 ounces lager style beer, 1 ounce fresh lime juice, 1 ounce simple syrup, and lime wedge for garnish.
Hmm.
So the King Green. And
How is
yes,
that
Alan,
King Green?
I am using the beer you gave me, the Tom's Lager. So I have the rest of the can here when the cocktail's gone.
Nice.
Um, yeah. So we'll see. Cheers.
Cheers.
Hmm. That is pretty good. I
Okay.
didn't know. I really had no idea what to expect when I put that in my mouth. But yeah, it's pretty good.
Oh, so many things
Refreshing.
I could say to that, but I'm
Hmm.
going to segue. I'm going to use your drink as a segue into one of the
Hmm.
things I've been doing this week, because that drink sounds exactly like it would fit in the world of Doctor No by Ian
Ah,
Fleming, which I finally finished.
okay.
Took me not long once I really buckled down, but took me a long time to buckle down and do it. So yeah,
Okay. So, um, yeah, when we put this in there, I was like, "Oh, did you watch the movie?" Or I wasn't sure if
no,
that was the book or the
I
movie.
finished the book.
Okay. Do you want to do a Doctor No book movie episode, or do you want to give your Doctor No thoughts here and now?
I'd rather do it in an episode,
Okay.
um, because I feel like I'd have to go back and watch Doctor No again. It's been a very long time since I've seen Doctor No,
Well, I mean, if
and
you just want to
there
talk about the book, or if you want to
yeah,
do
I
it.
mean, we could too, but yeah, I do kind of wanna watch the movie because I very vividly remember some pieces of it, and I'd love to, like, kind of go back and watch the whole thing given having just read it,
Okay. Yeah.
just to kinda do, like, a that's different because like, reading the character of Honey Rider and remembering, like,
Mm.
Ursula Andress's performance is, like, vastly different.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, I would be interested to go back and, like, rewatch that movie. I think
It's
I've only
hard for
seen it, like,
me.
twice, honestly. Like,
Okay.
it's one of my fewer watched ones, even though I remember liking it a lot.
Okay. All the Connery movies have basically essentially all the Connery movies I've been rewatching have taken a hit for me on
Okay.
my current enjoyment of them. So I am very interested to see the first again, give it a
Yeah,
rewatch after the book. And it's very difficult for me to bite my tongue right now and not say stuff about the book
the
because
book. Yeah.
yeah, I do have thoughts. Yeah.
I do too. I do too. Some good, some bad. Yeah. And
Okay.
I remember I remember thinking this was a really interesting book coming off of a huge live or die cliffhanger in the previous and the previous
Yeah.
book being really great. So, yeah, this was a really interesting book to follow.
It was From Russia with Love, right? That was
Mhm.
yeah, okay.
Yep.
I
Yep.
definitely get the order mixed up. Remembering the movie order and then the book order
I know.
separately.
I know.
My god, man.
I know. That's
Yeah.
terrible that they did that. I mean, also like there are some instances where I understand why, in which, some of them would be very hard to do. And, there were definitely easier plots. Like this is a
Yeah,
very straightforward plot. You know what I mean? Like this is
sure.
like Doctor No is very easy in terms of like there's limited characters, there's limited, side plots, action. It's all very like linear and focused and simple to
Mhm.
tell. Um, so I get why this would be a good starting point because it's easy
Yeah,
in
sure.
that capacity.
Yeah. Okay. Well, very nice. Everybody look forward to
Mhm.
that. Our
Yes.
Doctor No discussion.
Yes. So yeah, so I finished Doctor No, did some other reading on a webtoon that recently came back that we had covered previously on the podcast, Maybe Meant to Be. There is a huge plot twist and
Mhm.
it's been very fun. to liven
Okay.
up this series and sort of kind of keep our characters in a little bit of prolonged, relationship building before we get some payoff. But this plot twist was something I didn't see coming and is kind of fun for the moment, so I'll allow it.
Okay. Okay. Nice. Yeah, it's been a
Because
minute
like
since I've jumped into that.
yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about when we talked about, this, that, a lot of times in a kind of like romantic comedy type story, there's a lot of like build up to getting the characters together. And this is kind of like jumping into the marriage and then doing some of that, kind of relationship building. But
Yeah.
you don't want to prolong it too much. Otherwise, you just end up with a frustrated audience. So this was a clever way to prolong some things. And yeah, I won't
Okay.
say too much more.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Yeah, related-ish, in the,
Mhm.
webtoon world. I've watched the first episode of season 2 of Solo Leveling, and it is excellent. It's really good. Also, just to throw you a bone here, John, there's a lot less internal dialogue in the first episode, and they're definitely upping, like, a horror plus gore factor.
Hmm.
And,
Okay.
yeah, I thought it was really good.
Nice. Okay.
So, just throw you a bone. I know
That's
you're
fine.
I know you're working your way through season 1, in
Yep.
which admittedly there is a lot of internal dialogue.
I was getting like excited about it today, and then um fortunately I remembered, oh yeah, there's a podcast tonight, because I was thinking I was gonna pound through a bunch more episodes tonight, but
Mhm.
I'll get some this weekend yet, and finish that off. Be on to season
Sure.
2 in no time. I really don't mind the internal dialogue. It's the externalization of that dialogue that
Yeah.
should be internal.
Yeah.
So,
I get it. I get it.
I
But
mean,
yeah,
unless it's like a Southeast Asian thing that I'm unaware of, where people just talk to themselves aloud all the time. Maybe it's a
yeah.
cultural thing. Like, I just, I'm as soon as I'm alone, I'm talking to myself. I wouldn't know that, I guess. So, someone
Yeah.
fill me in.
I
If
can't,
that's the case.
yeah. I can't say that that's a habit that I have, I've done it probably once or twice very sparingly in moments of exasperation with myself. Um, yeah, I don't really
Yeah,
know.
moments of exasperation, or there's an example I'm gonna bring up here
Sure.
as well. Well, I'm playing the Indiana Jones video game, and it's common in video games for the characters to kind of talk aloud, saying whatever. There's It's pretty good in this, and occasionally there's moments where he does, but I feel like there's moments of thinking something through, or maybe a
Mhm.
high stress situation, like maybe you're kind of scared or something like that, where you might speak aloud, you know.
Sure.
Like if you're in
Out
the
of nerves.
bottom of ancient tomb that's pretty creepy, maybe you choose to say a thing or two out loud,
Sure.
as a means of like, hey, I'm alone here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I do notice that, you know, in certain shows, there tends to be a, like, "I will be shocked at this thing that I am suddenly explaining out loud for you all." Like, that is the tone of the voice, and it does get a little grating sometimes.
yeah.
Although, I don't know, I get that they're trying to find a balance between, like, constant internal dialogue and, like, having some, because there is, like, a tonal difference when they're doing, like, the
Mhm.
internal versus external speaking. Um, yeah. So I get that,
A,
that's sort of like their variety.
a word or two, but
Yeah.
not
Not
sentences
full
aloud,
sentences. Yeah,
Yeah.
not paragraphs, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, when I was thinking about this, I was thinking about, I have no idea which show it was, but, Penn Badgley did, an interview about his series, which I am looking is part of my looking forward to, in 2025, but the series You, in which he plays like a stalker slash serial killer, and so much of his scenes I really didn't realize how much is internal dialogue. So
Mm.
he played a bunch of clips for the audience without his internal dialogue, and it's like 5 minutes of him just like, it's it's so awkward. It's like one of the most awkward things I've ever seen. And this guy, he's like, "I have to make it different. I just have to, like, sort of move my face and, like, do these, like, weird slow turns as I'm looking and internalizing my dialogue." And I was like, "This is nuts. The show looks so stupid without his, like, internal monologuing." But,
Mhm.
like, that's the point is, like, you're inside his creepy, stalker serial killer thoughts, and they're fascinating and
Sure.
weird. But yeah, poor guy has to do it, without the benefit of his own voiceover first.
Yeah.
And oh my
Yeah.
god, it's terrible. Watch the clip, it's so funny, and I can't imagine what it's like for him on set, just, like,
Right.
listening to other people talk and then just, like like oh god. So,
Yeah.
yeah, anyway, that's just what
That's
that made
good.
me think of. So,
That's funny.
yeah.
Very nice.
Anyway, um yeah,
Alright.
rounding out my list, another, early 2000s actor appears in the final show that I was able to watch a couple of episodes of this week. It's called Nobody Wants This. It's with Adam Brody and Kristen Bell, and it's a cute little rom-com TV series where Adam Brody plays a
Hollywood's
rabbi.
remaking every IP from your childhood,
Apparently
and
they are.
it's called
They're
Nobody
well,
Wants
they're
This?
just
Yeah.
they're apparently I'm interested in all the, stars of my teens era again. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, so Adam Brody plays a rabbi who is, romantically interested in Kristen Bell's character who is not Jewish. So conflict there. Plus, she does a podcast with her sister. Fun show about podcasters. And the podcast is called Nobody Wants This.
Oh, okay.
So and they're kind of, like, trying to take it to this new level where, like, Spotify is going to buy their show and sponsor
Mm.
them. And so there's, like, conflict there with her maybe starting a new relationship when, maybe it would be more interesting to talk about her weird single dating life on the podcast. So,
That
but yeah.
totally could be, like, one of the podcasts we have. The name Nobody Wants This, and I could
Nobody
talk
wants
every month at least about why
things
nobody wants this shit. What
nobody
do you
wants this.
what yeah. There, can we have that? Nobody wants this shit. We'll add that. It's different enough.
There we go, there we go. We put our own spin on it. Nobody wants this
Yeah.
shit. I would
Okay.
do a podcast where we could just rant about stuff that nobody wants.
Yeah, nobody wants this. That's get out of here. Perfect. And then the comment section will be filled with all the people slash bots that do want this. So
That's true, that's true. They'll be coming for
mhm,
us.
mhm.
Or they can talk about things that they don't want. I mean, everybody's
Yeah,
got something that they're like,
right.
"Boo, I don't want this."
Yep, that's right.
I can start off Superman, James Gunn.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I don't want it.
Okay.
I don't want it.
What would you want instead? What do you want James Gunn to do?
Something else. Something
Okay.
else. Focus on making more Peacemaker. There, I'm gonna throw a
Mm,
bomb at you since,
yeah.
I know you did not enjoy that, but I did. I think y
Ugh.
I think you should focus on more stuff that hasn't been done yet.
I think he's talented. I just don't know that he should be I just don't know if he's the right guy to handle um big well-known IP, you know? I
Mhm.
Superman's gonna be the test of that,
Yeah.
because Peacemaker, if you look at that as a test, was a fail. Even the show's good. It's not doing well. It's not doing justice to the IP he's adapting to the characters
Mhm.
he's adapting. So
I like his weirdness, and I think his weirdness fits there. I just don't know how I feel about Superman. And I'm also because I'm watching Witcher again with Chris,
mm,
I'm still salty about the whole, like, mass firing and cleaning house. I'm
sure,
salty for Henry Cavill.
yeah, okay. Um, yeah, I did a lot of things since our last episode. I did watch
You
the
did?
Carry On movie on Netflix,
How was
starring Taron
that?
Egerton. It was
I was
fun. Yeah,
intrigued.
it was pretty good. You know,
Okay.
people were comparing it to it's like a Die Hard type of Christmas movie, you know,
Yeah.
and it is. It does not reach the heights of Die Hard, but I will say it is tense. Like our main character is put into a very difficult situation, and you are definitely as an audience member saying like, how can he get out of this? How
Sure.
what do you do? And there was a one or two moments of I don't know that that's the path I would have taken, and was that necessary? But other
Mhm.
than that, it was just a fun time. It was good and intense and kept you on the
Good
edge of your
action.
seat. Yeah, it's really not action packed per se. It's just it's a good kind of thriller type of thing. You just get
Mhm.
um yeah, I really don't want to I don't know that I want to say too much of the premise to give stuff away because I really liked being surprised. You know, just say
Sure.
that Taron Egerton's character is a um like a TSA worker, and he is looking to start a family with his new wife, um, and maybe wants to try to move up a little bit, and his wife's telling him should do something else to make yourself happy and
Mhm.
whatever, and things go sideways at the airport. Um,
Mhm.
and yeah, the movie, I don't know if it's trying to make me feel empathy for TSA workers because I don't. If it did, it failed on that count. But I, it's like I'm watching him like I can see what you're trying to do. You're trying to make me feel bad for these guys. I don't feel bad. You guys get a lot of money for being rude assholes all day, you know? So yeah. Um,
Hey now.
but
Hey now. Not all of them.
that's true.
Otherwise,
Outside,
Chris's sister's gonna come find you.
she might. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. It's I'll say I can it's easier to if I was going to count the grumpy ones or the pleasant ones, I'd choose to
Mm,
count the pleasant ones because the number would be lower. I'll just say that.
sure. Sure.
But maybe she would really like this movie then, you know?
Yeah, that would be interesting to have her watch it and see what she would think of it, and also how implausible she would find certain things, or like she'd be like, "That's breaking protocol. You can't do that."
Yep.
Like I don't know. I always
Yep.
find that stuff kind of fun.
Right.
Um, when you watch something and you're like, "No, I know the reality of that. That's not even close."
Yeah.
Um,
Cuz
but
I
yeah.
also watched the first episode of Blackbird and on Apple with also Taron Egerton and
Mm,
they this little farming scene and
m'kay.
the of course, but it's like, okay, you're picking corn that's green with so it would be sweet corn, but the combine they're using and stuff is not for sweet corn. So it's like it's
Oh.
just mismatch of equipment or whatever. But
That's very niche of you. I love that.
yeah.
You're like, "That's
Yeah.
not the right combine." No, no.
No.
No, no.
So yeah, Blackbird is season one. As far as I know, just season one is on Apple. It's just
Okay.
one of the many looking high quality shows that are on there that I have not
Mhm.
yet sampled. Ashley seemed interested in this one because it's about a murderer,
Mm,
um, and it's inspired by true events and people and stuff. So,
okay.
yep, just saw the first episode of that. Promising so far. Um, and then I watched I already mentioned I've been playing the Indiana Jones game, which is great. And then
Mhm.
I watched two more movies, two horror movies.
Yeah.
First, Cuckoo, which is kind of like a more of a thriller than super horror, but I've been wanting to see that for a while, and that was good. It wasn't too long. I didn't know where
Mhm.
going. I was a little confused for quite a while, like, but the moments to moment drama was good, so I
Mhm.
didn't mind, and then it kind of came to clarity enough at the end.
Okay.
Like, the plot is pretty out there, I would say, but again, the moment to moment drama is pretty good and the characters and stuff. So it
Interesting.
was fun, well shot. Cuckoo, and then Nosferatu. That's
How
a
was that?
movie. It's good. It's very
Yeah?
good. Gothic horror. Um, yeah, it looked good. All of, I mean, Eggers' movies have been good so far to me, and so it's a stellar cast, and it's a little, it's a little weird knowing this story and comparing it to even like Bram Stoker's Dracula and stuff like that. Just how similar. I mean, you just understood what kind of the progression of events, but it was different and it was gorgeous,
Mhm.
and I think everybody did a great job. Whether you were supposed to like their character, if you did, if you weren't supposed to like them, you didn't.
Mm.
Um, yeah, thumbs up for sure. Big
Had
fan.
you seen, like, the OG Nosferatu?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. It was really like, I mean, it's obviously a classic. It's been hyped up a lot. So I
Mhm.
have to admit, as uncommon of an opinion maybe as it is, it was underwhelming for me.
Mhm.
I was really expecting, I don't know, something
Sure.
amazing and definitive or whatever. So though I appreciate it, I appreciate this new one a lot more. It's got a
Interesting.
great look, and yeah, I'm a fan. Hope you get to see it sometime soonish.
Yes, I hope so too. It's, part of my 2025 plan to go to more movies because I got this for Christmas. Oop, there we go.
Oh, nice. Very
So,
good.
yes, me and the
Well, you
Alamo
and me
gotta be
both.
friends.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, we're doing a little different stuff with it might work out now for us once in a while, a little more frequently to sneak out for a movie at one of our local theaters. So
Nice.
hopefully we can like yeah, at least manage some of the, you know, the horror ones that we get behind on or something like that. Um
Yeah,
yeah. So
nice. 2025 goals. There we have
yeah.
it.
Then we'll have more things, more very current things for us to talk about.
Indeed.
So, mhm. Okay, well, before we get to what we're looking forward to in 2025, we should talk a little bit about the best of 2024. Let's not forget
Mhm.
2024 quite yet. Did you have a couple like absolute favorite things in different formats of media that you absolutely are raving about?
I did. I kept my list, I feel like, pretty tight because when I thought about the year, I was just trying to, like, think about things that I just absolutely fell in love with and or fell in love with, like, expecting and or not expecting.
Hmm.
And that applies right away to movies. Furiosa, loved it so much.
Great.
I really was kind of going in wondering how I would feel about it. And, even though I thought, like, from trailers it looked good, I didn't know that the movie was going to be good, and I didn't
Okay.
know how I was gonna feel about Anya Taylor-Joy, truly. But yeah, it was an unexpected, like, total rave. I loved it. Um, I think watching that back to back with Fury Road was really fun, but Furiosa definitely came away the stronger of the 2, even though both were excellent, I felt like.
Okay. And you did you had watched Furiosa first, right? Like you hadn't seen Fury Road previously.
What order did I do them? I did them so close, I can't remember now. No, I watched Fury Road first, I
You did.
think.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. But I watched them, like, it felt like almost back to back. So it just felt like sort of
Yeah.
continuation.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really interesting seeing how because my worry with Furiosa was, oh, it's just gonna be Fury Road again. It's too
Mhm.
similar. and there definitely were similarities,
Mhm.
but there was a lot different. It's fun to watch some people's breakdowns of like how differently the movies are shot, like how
Mhm.
Furiosa holds frames, tells story through moving the camera, keeping the shot going, and how
Mhm.
like there's very little music in it and all these different
Mhm.
stuff. Whereas like Fury Road is compelled by music, and the
Yes.
the cuts are
Very
fast and
driven.
frenetic. So like
Mhm.
even though they're aesthetically similar in a lot, the landscape and some of that a lot of times,
Color
and
palettes,
um
yeah.
yeah, and like we're doing road warrior things. It was Yeah, they're pretty different. So,
Yeah. I definitely also was worried about Furiosa's length and feeling like the way that it was shot was going to also lend itself to slowness and, like stagnancy. And that was not the case. Like the slow
yeah.
moments were there, but nothing ever felt like, oh my God, this is dragging. Like, move it
Mhm.
on. So,
Yeah, Fury Road was such a high bar for me that I think that Furiosa on my first watch was a little, um wasn't as much as I had hoped for, but on a second watch, then,
mhm,
like, knowing what I was in for, I appreciated it more. So,
mhm.
yeah, made my list as well for best movies of 2024.
I unfortunately didn't watch too much in 2024, like specifically that came out in 2024 to pick
Right.
from, but I obviously have to say Wicked Part 1. I was very nervous about it going in. I expected to like it because I loved the original musical, and then just found myself being like, well, I mean, yes, and also like just as a moviegoer, this is amazing. And I got way more emotional about it than I expected at all. Also, I felt it had one of the best cameos, um, spoilers, sorry, um, in Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth popping up. They were so,
Mm,
like, unexpected, and it was a masterclass in how to do a cameo because it was very short. It was like, "Oh my god, they're here," but they weren't, like, taking away attention from what was happening in the plot. They were utilized for the perfect amount of time. They had the perfect nods to their OG characters, and then they were gone. And so, yeah,
okay.
that was one of my favorite surprises about the movie. I had no idea it was coming, and I cried, and it was awesome. So, yeah,
Nice.
super pumped about how well John Chu did Wicked. Yeah, loved it.
Nice.
Can't wait for part 2.
And that's next year? Or this
Yep.
year already?
Yeah, they've already, yes, this year. They've already shot all of it. It's all ready to go. They did everything all
Oh,
together
okay.
and then just split it up to be released last year, and then part 2, which I think is called For Good, is coming December of this year.
Okay. Nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's not a movie that I'm interested in, but I can't say I've heard anything bad about it. I've not heard a bad
Mhm.
review. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's really strong. I'm a little worried about part 2 because there is less content for the second act, so I'm a little
okay.
worried that maybe they tried to stretch it where part 1 stretching felt really great and contextual for all the background of the story, and they just sprinkled bits in. It wasn't like long extra scenes or extra characters. I'm a little worried that maybe part 2 is a more heavy-handed with that
Mm,
kind of stuff. Um,
yeah.
but obviously we'll see. Who knows?
Yep. Okay. We
Mhm.
knocked off 2 there then. Best of 2024, most anticipated 2025.
Indeed. Check, check. Um, that'll be, I mean, I think for me, kind of a running theme because a lot of stuff that, especially in the anime world that I loved in 2024 is coming out already with season twos in 2025. Starting off with my absolute favorite, Kaiju number 8. So good. I This was something that, like, Phil was really into and, like, kept being like, "Oh, I'm gonna watch it, I'm gonna watch it." So I was like, "Yeah, I saw a trailer, it looks good, like, Phil's into it, I'll watch it." And then just, like, fell so much in love with it. Like, I thought it was excellent from first shot to last. I love the premise, I love the twist on monster hunting. Um, so yeah, this series was, like, funny but poignant at the same time. Great characters, nobody was, like, too tropey to be annoying. They all just, like, worked well. I loved it.
Except for the
Yeah.
ageism, Andrea. Do you not
I mean,
recall?
yes, yes, yes. But it was endearing by the time it was over, even though, like, I'm, like, mini faux outraged about the
Yeah.
old-timerness. But
Yeah.
it was cute at the end because it was, like, their, inside joke.
Yeah. Yeah, Kaiju made my list as well. I was very surprised by it. It's
Mhm,
not a thing that you know, it takes more for shonen to wow me now, I guess, because there's a
mhm.
lot. And then I'm not particularly into kaiju. So
Yeah,
um but when it's once a week, why not try it? And
mhm,
yeah, I was very surprised. They just did a good job of the characterizations and
mhm.
not like bombarding you with too much world building stuff right out the gate. Like they did that well because your protagonist is the cleanup guy, so you can kind of
Yes.
learn through the monster cleanup guy what's
Mhm.
going on. So
Yes.
yeah,
Which, yeah,
well done.
that was just such, like, a fun, unexpected viewpoint to come at this. It's, practical and necessary, and it's, like, something you don't think of,
Yeah,
you know? Honestly, when I first was watching it, I was kind of thinking about flashing back to Marvel and, thinking about Avengers and, like, Tony Stark talking about, who's there cleaning up after all the damage we've done in these huge, brutal fights, and it was just like, yeah, like,
yeah,
here you go. Here is a viewpoint of, what
yep,
cleanup looks like, and it's weird and professionalized as I would expect it to be in Japan, and, yeah, it was just a really fun angle to think about.
yeah,
So,
very nice.
kaiju number 8, yeah, on a very different note, but in the same medium, Apothecary Diaries. I also came out this year, plus having its, season 2 dropping tomorrow,
Yeah,
PSA. Get caught up on Apothecary Diaries, watch season 2 tomorrow. I don't know if it'll be in English also, but at least the sub will be released. Such a good series. Again, like, not something I went into thinking I would love it, even though I felt like this was more in my wheelhouse of things I would like, but I didn't expect to come out of it loving it as much as I did. Again, like, a great, compelling central story, but also a great ensemble cast.
yeah,
Um, I thought each of, like, the courtesans was different and unique enough from each other. They all, when it came their turn to have backstories, all had really interesting ones. Um, and yeah, it just it was like a cross between anime and like a procedural mystery of the week,
right.
and but
Yep,
set in a different era, and I loved all of it.
yep. Yeah, I liked Japan playing with the fictional version of a Chinese royal court, you know?
Yes. Mhm.
So,
Yeah, they did it well. They did it very well.
mhm.
Plus, they had their own, like, mini story arcs, that got a bit more serious and dramatic and centered around our
Yeah,
main character and kind of, like, talking about her background, so a lot of those were very emotional as well as, some sillier or lighter moments as well. So,
yep.
yeah, very, very excellent series. Can't wait to see what drops tomorrow.
Yeah,
Um, Other faves. Ugh, this is gonna run me back to my childhood. X-Men '97. So flippin' good. Just reminded me how much I loved the OG X-Men, which I did go back and, like, rewatch because classic. But X-Men 97 did an amazing job, like, nodding back to that original show while also updating, like, a new storyline and sort of, like, picking up where things left off in a very realistic and compelling fashion. And yeah,
Sure.
inaugural season was awesome. It was so, so good. Are you bringing out some OG X-Men stuff?
What I'm bringing out is actually
Oh, you got it.
yeah, I I bought an international copy or whatever,
Awesome.
from probably the Philippines or something like that. And so yeah, I haven't watched it yet, but I
Oh my
now
god, I
own it.
can't wait.
So
I can't wait. It's really good. It's really good. Another thing I was terrified about because I absolutely love the original X-Men cartoon. So, like, formative part of my childhood right there, and, yeah, X-Men 97 did it justice, I think, really.
nice.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
haven't really
cool.
heard anything. I guess I haven't been paying terribly much attention about a season 2. Um,
Yeah, I was supposed to
let's
be
see.
one. It's in the works.
2026.
Okay.
2026. Okay. Yeah, I thought it was not imminent, which is sad, but whatever. If they do it right, it's fine. I'll wait. Because yeah,
Yeah,
the first season of X-Men 97 is great.
kind of hope it's the last season, this next one, because it's difficult to get something good. And this next season is the last thing written by the same person. And then he
Oh,
was
yeah, yeah,
fired.
sure.
And
Sure.
so all I'm saying is like, will we get someone else that also can manage this series
Yes.
with the same
Yes.
level of quality? I don't know. I wouldn't bet on it. So just putting that out
Yeah,
there.
I mean, I wouldn't be sad if it was a short-lived thing. You know, there's always X-Men to go back and rewatch and enjoy, and I hadn't done it for a long time. So that was purely enjoyable. But yeah, X-Men 97 season 1, top quality.
I mean, I don't know what I get in this that way too. It's like when I grew up, it wasn't this way. I didn't expect there to be Star Wars movies forever. I just was happy that we
Yeah,
had the Star Wars movies that we did, and then there'd be books or so, that's so that was what we had. But not everything even did that. It's like n- it can be finite, and then people still appreciate what that is. W- everybody talks about Jaws, the first Jaws. No one talks about the other Jaws. So could it have just been Jaws one? It might as well have been, and it's still a beloved movie, and people are
sure.
big fans of Jaws and love Jaws. So I do it too, but like not everything has to keep going forever. And in fact, usually it just ends up being bad if it does. Like,
Sure. Yeah, Game of Thrones.
yeah,
That'll never not work. Yeah, I think it's different with TV shows. You just now sort of expect them to
yeah,
keep going rather than, being finite.
hmm,
Or they have to very clearly state at the beginning, like, this is a mini series, this is a limited series,
sure, yeah,
otherwise there is that expectation once you start that you just get to keep going.
sure,
And when you don't, people are mad.
yeah, and eventually ends when it's not good enough anymore.
Exactly,
That's the sad
exactly.
truth of it. Then, so
Usually, yeah, unless writers have, like, a very strong, like, "This is the number of seasons, and we are just holding to that."
hmm,
Um, like, I was really upset, unexpectedly watching The Good Place. I loved that show, and I could have watched it for a long time, and the writers were like, "No, we had a four-season arc, we did 4 seasons, we are
nice,
good. Like,
great,
this is what we wanted. Thank
yeah,
you. Done." So, and they really could have kept
appreciate
going
it.
with that. So, yeah. So, yeah, we'll see for X-Men if they're a 2 series wonder, or more, but yeah, at least the 1st
Hmm,
season, I can't wait for you to watch it, it's really good.
nice.
Um, Something that just cleaned up a bunch of awards, is my next TV series, Shogun. I was really excited about it, and I was excited to watch it with Chris because this is something like he teaches about. So he was very interested to like look at this with a historical eye. And yeah, I thought it was excellent. Really well done. I know we covered so much on the podcast. I don't want to just like sit and rehash my thoughts,
Yeah.
but yeah, this is
Yep.
definitely a
No,
top
I put
for
Shogun
me.
on my list too. Yep. It's
Um,
unique that we got a larger budget show set in this time period that
yes.
got a lot of recognition and yeah.
Mhm.
So
And I saw that one of our kind of semi villains or anti-heroes, I guess, Yabashige, the actor who plays him, got
yes,
an
best
award too.
supporting.
Yeah, best
Yep.
supporting. I saw that. I was
Mhm.
like, "Yeah, nice job, dude." I did enjoy his character even when I didn't. So,
Yes.
good
Mhm.
for him. And then finally closing out with TV shows with what we're discussing tonight, Dune Prophecy. I thought this also was really well done and it grabbed me from like the opening scenes. I loved that this was Dune universe, but it wasn't necessarily just like set on Arrakis. It was a little more,
Mhm.
exploratory of the world. And yeah, I really, really have enjoyed it.
Nice. Well, that's a pretty good list. Some
Yes. And then I
a lot of
wanna I
things.
wanna I
Yeah.
wanna honorable mention a couple of just like things that like were almost. I talked a lot about this, Cobra Kai. I got back into it, watched it. It had a plot twist at the end of season 6, part 2, that would just like blew me off the couch. I was just like, "What? This is a crazy serious thing for like, a tween show." And it like totally blew my mind. And now it has a part 3, which also blew my mind. So yeah, Cobra Kai, like not the whole thing was awesome. It was, pretty standard, like I said, tween show kind of fare. Um, but yeah, just like kind of built up to something that was more than I expected. So well done,
Sure.
Cobra Kai, to come back. Penguin almost made my list. It was so, so close. I was kind of going back and forth. But really, I feel like I had some issues with the writing and some of like the plot points that I was just like, "Ugh, these kind of bug me." So I wanted to mention like a couple of moments that really grabbed me from the series, including the flashback episode where we really got to see the range of Kristen Miliotti's character. Her acting
Yes.
just got me, and I was like, "Damn, this is amazing." The whole episode, start to finish, was awesome. I know I expressed a lot of skepticism about her being able to kind of like be more serious like this. And she just like hit it out of the park. Also I'm gonna
And then
totally.
okay, don't do
Oh
just
yes.
say the ending
Yes.
surprise.
The ending surprise, okay, was really shocking to me, genuinely shocking. There were so many other things that I called about the ending of Penguin. And then this one I didn't, and it genuinely was, like, emotional and gut-wrenching, and yeah, surprised the heck out of me that this show
Mhm.
went there, even though I shouldn't have been surprised. So,
Sure.
yeah. Honorable mention, also honorable mention to Don to Don. It, again, almost made my list, um, but I really had a hard time with the first couple of episodes. I just sort of was, like, I was warming to it, but I wasn't there yet, and then, like, the back half really got me, starting with the acrobatic Silky arc. One of the best things. That's why I wanted to put in my honorable mentions and moments because that arc in particular is devastatingly beautiful. But again, the ending was like a big WTF, and it just was so odd that I was like, "Ugh." I do have it on my most anticipated for 2025 because I'm really excited about it. But yeah, just sort of like a bumpy road for me with Don to Don, even
Sure.
though I love it now.
Okay. Yep.
And then also I loved doing our mini sewed on Anya Taylor-Joy's Furiosa fashion. That was great fun.
Yeah. Well, we should pick another one. Like I was saying, we got to do we missed the Golden Globes, but maybe we can do an Oscars
Yes.
fashion thing. And like, I wish we could just watch the coverage with the sound off or whatever. Maybe we
Yeah.
can. Can we get away with that without copyright problems too much? Like
When
without being
did we
shut
do that
down.
though, like, a while back, didn't we? And it was fine?
Maybe I remember we accidentally went into
The
when the Oscars or
broadcast.
something actually started, and there was
Yeah.
music, and then we got
Flagged.
yeah.
So we'd have to
So
yeah, we'd have to
maybe
be
I
on it with
mean, but
that,
we can keep the
cut
whole
off.
thing muted the whole time, like, that's fine.
Yes.
Um, but otherwise, it'll have to be the day after and, you know,
Yeah.
whatever, but
Yeah, I would
either
totally do
way,
that.
cool. I don't know when the Oscars are, so I'll have to
I don't
look that up.
either.
Well, good lists, good honorable mentions. I shared some of the similar ones. My movies, Dune Part 2, though, was on
Mhm.
there. I kind of keep forgetting that came out in 2024, but
It does
big fan of
feel a while ago.
yeah. I don't know what the deal is with that, but I wanted to, while I'm talking about that, show off this book I
Ooh,
have.
schmancy.
Hmm. So this is called Dune Exposures, and it is a book by Greg Fraser, the director of photography, and Josh Brolin. And
Oh, okay, yeah.
so Josh Brolin is really like into music and poetry and stuff, and Greg Fraser started out doing photography work and stuff. And so this is a like an art book that has like behind the scenes on set photography from Greg Fraser,
Very
and
cool.
then moments of like poems and writings to coincide by Josh Brolin.
Cool.
So, and it's really quite the variety of like some of the poems are, you know, short and sweet, and some of them are lengthy. And
Hmm,
so
good portrait.
yeah, I haven't read a lot of this yet. Like here's some things this is really, really short. Crystalline fields of sand like oceans rise and fall, our egos defunct. That's, uh,
That's cool. A good shot.
so it's definitely artsy fartsy, you know,
Little
but
haiku.
yeah, yeah. But I I'll consume anything Dune I can, So
Mhm.
um, yeah.
The Chalamet hair.
Hmm. Hmm. So yes, Dune Part 2 was on my movies list,
Mhm.
and on upon a rewatch, I like it even more. So I'm very interested to see how the book goes and coincides with it because, um, yeah, I don't know. Doom Part 2, amazing. Long Legs, I watched Long Legs. I thought that was a standout, surprising horror film with Nicolas
Mhm.
Cage. And
Mhm.
again, shot really well, looks very different. It's kind of feels low budget, but it's really out there and not like something I've seen before. So, uh, shout out to that. Nosferatu, also on the list. Having just saw that in 2025, but it did come out in 2024. So
Very true.
it's um it's I just love the gothic aesthetic. That helps a lot. And this just does that story such justice.
Mhm.
It's weird and unnerving, and the effects are so good, and so Nosferatu, very much enjoyed that. And then Alien Romulus to round out my movies. I was very worried about Alien Romulus. I'm not thinking it's going to be good. They're like really wringing the rag of Alien these days. They're like, oh, there's going to be a TV show. Um, now that's coming or whatever. and we've had the movies that have had mixed reception, and I'm a HR Giger fan. I like that art style and everything. And Alien Romulus and Alien is one of my favorite movies. So I don't know. I didn't know what to think of this, but when I saw it, it really hit the vibe for me. They nailed the mood I was looking for.
Mhm.
And yeah, props to them using so many practical effects. That was really cool as well. There's one thing that in there I was like, oh, the effects are so good, except this one thing that looked kind of fakey. But it did because they insisted on doing it with a practical effect.
Oh,
So
sure.
I thought it was like a poor CGI thing, and it was actually a practical
It
thing.
was just it was
So
just too real for you, John.
yeah.
What is
So
reality?
I some people were hard on Alien Romulus because I think they're also just sort of out of it or whatever, and you know, done with Alien.
Sure.
But I don't know. I was pretty impressed. And then
Got like a 79
TV.
on Rotten Tomatoes. That's not bad.
Yeah, well, that's so what do people say? What's the audience?
Let's see. 85 in audience.
Okay. Okay. Well, great. I think it was successful monetarily. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. 7.1 IMDb. I mean, solid, nothing like,
Yeah. IMDb is a tough scale. Like
yeah,
a
it
lot of
is.
things are
Yeah.
sixes and sevens. Yeah.
Yep.
So, TV, already talked about Kaiju, already talked about Shogun. Dandadan did make my list. It's just that thing I wanted for something super fun, and
Yeah.
it delivered on that sort of tone, feeling, just zany over the topness. It was very gorgeous. And then as the scene you mentioned with the acrobatic silky, uh,
Oof.
again in my top list for best scenes in television. I need to
Yeah.
watch it again,
Agree.
but it was,
Agree.
I'm a little biased as a new parent. It affected
Mhm.
me more, but it just was, rehash of our anime podcast from last week. If you didn't hear it, it's
Mhm.
just so well produced. The music
Mhm.
is perfect. It is
Mhm.
beautifully drawn and animated. It's just that's one thing they've done good about this show is like they've taken everything from the manga, and anytime they've expanded on an action sequence or whatever, it's not a letdown. It's like it's amplifying what was there in the proper
Mhm.
way, and they really did
Mhm.
that here. So
Yeah. Yeah.
very
10 out of
good.
10. No notes. So
Mhm.
excellent.
Um, Penguin did make my list.
Mhm.
I was very happy with Penguin. Sadly, it might be the last thing we get from the Matt Reeves verse with the Batman movie being delayed, and I
Mhm.
don't know. I just have no confidence anymore. But but I didn't know what to think of this either, and
Yeah.
I was quite happy despite a few like cinematography things early on, and then
Mhm.
a couple story things that were took a bit of a leap. Because Ashley and I were like talking, we're talking best TV of 2024. What would you give it, Penguin or Dune Prophecy? And it was like, well, that maybe that's the thing. It's the couple moments in Penguin that kind of set it back a little bit. It's just like, I don't know that
Mhm.
I believe that that's how that would have gone down. Or it's a little bit of a
Mhm.
stretch to take that. So, but yeah,
Yeah,
Penguin's still in my top.
that's why Dune made mine and, like, Penguin was, like, right there, but I think especially in the moment, I had more, like, I was drawn out of it a little bit more than you were. Like, I had a lot of when we were discussing in the show, I
Yeah.
was like, "This wouldn't happen," or, like, "This thing struck me."
Yep.
Oh, but yeah, still
Yep.
I mean, still really good, and like you said, I think going into it, there were some question marks, obviously there were other shows of Reeves's that were greenlit, and this was the one that survived, and I was happy about that because it was more unique.
Yeah.
And, yeah, Colin Farrell did an excellent job. Also, props to the makeup team.
Yep.
Great job. Because yeah, I continually forgot that it was Colin Farrell. in there. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, really good.
And then for TV, finishing out with Doom Prophecy, which we'll get
Mhm.
into after a bit here. Um, Video games, a lot of other TV and movies and books were all from previous years. I didn't read any books that were written in 2024, all that sort of thing. Um, Video games can be the same case, but I did play a lot of Stellar Blade. Um,
Mhm.
I believe that came out in spring, and that's that shocked me with the quality and polish. Um, so that was one of my favorite games of the year. And then Indiana Jones game, an IP that I basically had just thrown away. I'm just I'm not going to pay attention to this anymore, and I
Sure.
really wasn't looking, didn't have high hopes for this game either. Um, but word of mouth was good, and I have Game Pass, so I tried it, and it's just shockingly good. It's shockingly puts you into an Indiana Jones movie
Mhm.
just exceptionally well. The voice acting, it really convinces you it is Harrison Ford's version of Indiana Jones, the Indiana
Sure.
Jones. The story feels right. The game. So coming from the outside looking in, Andrea, for this, it might not seem like much, but everybody thought if they were going to make an Indiana Jones game, it would just be an Uncharted game, because the Uncharted games, which there is four and then a spin-off,
Mhm.
um, it was clearly heavily inspired by Indiana Jones, and it became the more relevant thing to
Sure.
youth today would be Nathan Drake, not Indiana Jones. And so it's a different style, but it's absolutely the same kind of adventurer going through history, all this sort of thing. So people are like, why would you make an Indiana Jones game? Because it's just going to be an Uncharted game, and people care about Uncharted now, not Indiana Jones. But what they very smartly, wisely did is they did not make an Uncharted game. They said, really, no, really, what does Indiana Jones do? What
Sure.
is that like? And what that's like is exploring areas, like finding a mystery that's interesting, that you're sucked into an ancient artifact and investigating that. So that's exploring tombs and solving puzzles. And typically in games when they were less, capable, you'd be like, well, what do you do in the middle then? Well, you got to shoot a whole bunch of people. But in this, you don't. You gotta sneak around, you knock some people out, you
Sure.
occasionally shoot at people, but otherwise, you are finding your way through, the ruins of a pyramid. You're trying to escape fascists in the, avoid detection in the Vatican. Like, um, it's good. It's very good. I'm impressed. The climbing, you can't like do insane climbing things, superhuman, like
Yeah.
rock cliff, all this stuff. It's way more grounded, and makes it feel like an Indiana Jones movie versus some caricature of.
Sure.
Um, and it's got a story with some heart so far, and yeah, it takes you all over the world. So yeah, definitely the best video game I played of 2024, and in a while. So
Good to hear for that, IP because, the last I was trying to remember the last, Indiana Jones movie and if that was somehow in 2024, but no, it was late 2023.
oh, was it?
Dial of Destiny.
I thought it was summer.
Yeah, it
Did it
was
come out in
like
summer?
I say late, but it was like
Okay,
August 2023.
okay, okay.
So, I mean,
And
later
and
half technically, but
one of the biggest Hollywood flops ever.
yes.
Like, it
Yes.
bombed,
So bad.
incredible bomb.
So
So
bad. I have not seen it. I don't
I haven't
want to.
either. I don't want to. I wish I
Yeah,
hadn't
it's
seen Kingdom of the Crystal Skull,
yeah,
even though that one's
agreed.
not as bad. It
No,
just doesn't need to exist.
it's medium. It's,
Mhm.
there are, like, fun things about it, and then there's just, like, really terrible, awful things. Um, But yeah, no, I feel like Dial of Destiny is on the level of, like, Mummy 3, where I actually fell asleep in the theater because I hated it so much and did not care so much. Um, you know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those things where you're like,
Yeah.
I wish my eyeballs were not taking this in. I wish,
Oh,
I could
yeah.
undo it. I'm sorry, I really hate Mummy 3. Um, yeah, so that felt like that. But yeah, good for this IP for coming back and
Well,
doing
I have to
something
say,
right.
well, so the rumor is that Disney was impressed with the numbers enough from this game that they called and said they'd like more. So,
Of the
uh,
game.
more of this game stuff,
Okay, okay,
yes.
okay.
Like, make another one
Yeah.
is the rumor.
'Cause
So,
I
we'll
I think
see.
Harrison Ford was like, "I am very done with movies," which is good.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I will say, if you're ever bored and want something on, like, this might be a fun game for you to find a playthrough and just have
Okay.
watch that on TV. Like, if you're
Sure,
not gonna play it, just watch
sure.
through the story and,
I do
yeah.
I do love a good puzzle game, though. That's part of what I love about Res Evil 4. I love puzzles.
Mm. This
So,
game has there's not really another game like it exactly that I've played,
okay.
and, the puzzles are they're they're logical, they're not, like, I don't know. I've played puzzle games where it's like, this is really obtuse. This is really out there. Like,
Mhm,
how does this make sense or whatever? And it's just
mhm.
somehow this game makes puzzles that feel clever without being, um,
Abstract.
yeah. It's just it's a lot of things where you're unlocking stuff. And there's different. Use a codec or whatever to unlock something or to figure out the. It's just
Mhm,
I don't know. They're fun and they've been very varied. It's not like some things where there's an unlocking mechanism or like mini game and you do that
mhm,
repeatedly throughout the game all the
mhm.
time. They've been different. So
M'kay.
counts as not moon logic. I don't know what that means. Not moon logic. Um, what did I say? I said they're very logical. Yeah, logical. So what's moon logic? I don't know. Never heard of that term, Andrea?
I'm trying to think, like, because I just mentioned Moon Logic.
Favorite examples of moon logic in games. Um, I'm very curious now.
Yeah, agreed.
Um, that's okay. I don't remember a deal. I had to get some items in inventory like sticks, stones, rope. Seemed logical to get past a Yeti, but none of them worked. Thankfully, my dad had a solution book, and after looking
Oh.
up, determined could never guess the answer. He revealed we had to throw a
Oh.
pie at the Yeti. Oh, like a moonshot. So you have to. So
Yeah.
I will never forget that moment. We were like, "Huh?" Real kicker is that if you ate the pie at any point, you save game, you'd have wasted your time and no way to advance.
Oh my
So the end of the
god.
um, okay, interesting. So yeah, well, just try. So
This is
I was
fun.
gonna play the original Zelda more, and just looking up because I was stuck of where to go, and I'm like, oh my god, there are so many things to do in this first stage. I had no idea because you can't have any idea unless you randomly put bombs places and stuff. You just run around with different items and like burn stuff, and like, oh, there's a hatch. There's no indication anywhere of any of this, but that's the way they could
Oh
hide
god.
stuff or whatever. And I guess when you didn't have the internet and you didn't have a million games at your fingertips and you're a kid and you can just obsess about this one game
Right.
that you just are gonna whatever, you're just gonna do all this stuff. You appreciate that or something.
Maybe you'd figure it out,
Yeah.
but
Some of it
oh,
you're not supposed to figure out, I guess. So yeah, Alan says
gotta
you gotta
call
call
into
into
the
the hint
hidden
line.
line.
Exactly. Yeah. hmm
Oh
So, anyways,
god.
spending a lot of time on Indiana Jones. I'm very
Sure.
excited. It's a great game. So, we should talk quickly, anyways, about what we're most looking forward to in 2025. These are sizable lists here. So we don't
Yes,
have to like
I
discuss
can
each of
run
them or whatever,
through
but
yeah, I can
yeah.
run through. I mean, I've talked about some of the things I'm already excited about. Solo Leveling season 2, I started it. Kaiju number 8 season 2, Apothecary Diaries season 2, My Happy Marriage, which we've also covered before on the Ohio Anime podcast. That is a season 2. First episode is already out. You season 5, the last season, I'm pretty pumped about. Another season 5 I'm really pumped about is Stranger Things. That has been a hot minute, but it's coming out, at least one part of it is in 2025. And I'm really excited to get back into that world. I've missed it a lot. Um, let's see. Oh, something from 2024 that I'm going to be starting because I had to go back and rewatch the first season, Arcane season 2. So I'm gonna start with something old, I guess. Also,
Hmm.
what else? I mentioned Wicked for Good. Wednesday season 2, I really loved that. I think the first series of Wednesday came out in 2023. But that was a lot of fun. Jenna Ortega is the titular protagonist. She did a great job. And I think we're getting a lot more of her family, so a lot more like Catherine Zeta-Jones as Morticia, Fred Armisen
Mm.
as Uncle Fester, which I thought was a great casting. So that'll be excellent. Yeah, those are I think the big things I want to. Oh no no no! Sorry, the last thing I do really want to say that I'm really scared slash excited about is Daredevil Born Again.
Hmm.
I'm terrified, but excited that like the OG cast is back together because that was not going to happen for a really long time. And I thought that was a huge mistake. I know that I think, filmed a bunch, screened a bunch for people, and everybody hated it. So they were like back to the drawing board. So I do want to give kudos to realizing that, hey, you made a big mistake and going back and fixing it. So I really hope this is good and that it can do well to show that like if you do the thing, people will respond. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I want the idea of like admitting you made a mistake and fixing it to be rewarded. So I hope it's
Yes.
good. But
Yes. Yes. It can't be a half measure. Like, oh yeah, we
yeah.
look, we brought him back,
But
but
then
the
it's
show
like
is very
still
different
bad.
than yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. So I'm scared. I'm scared but excited.
I have not looked forward to like I've not cared at all about anything Marvel in
For
the
a while.
cinematic universe in quite some time,
Mhm.
except this. And I mean, interviews with cast gives me hope, but I don't want to. Yes, so I'm in the exact same boat. It's one of my most anticipated things for the year. I will watch that show some way or another, whether it's like wait for it all to come out, subscribe to Disney for that month and watch it, or whatever. I will,
Mhm.
if I can buy a copy from the Philippines, whatever, I will watch the show and see. Unless the earliest reports are it's just hot garbage, and then I just
Right.
don't want to put
Yeah.
myself through it. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I'm hopeful. We'll see. Hopeful and dreaded. Um, Also, Daredevil, Cold Day in Hell. This is a comic series that's
Okay.
starting. And it's kind of they frame it as an old man Logan type story. Matt Murdock is older and his like powers had gone away or something. They've been gone for a while or something like that. But they've, I don't know, come back and Captain America is giving him some important mission. So, and
Mm.
Captain America obviously doesn't
Interesting.
age quickly. So he's still
Yeah.
younger and like fit and all that stuff. But Matt Murdock he's getting older. And
Okay.
so whatever this mission is, the art looks different, kind of gritty and stuff. So I'm hoping that's not crap because most of the stuff in the comics sphere is too. So, but I'm gonna give that a shot. So um yeah, last season 2 is Apothecary, Kaiju, Don the
Dun, dun, dun.
Don. Yep. Um, oh yeah, I should have stuck in the comics. Absolute Batman. I am reading Absolute Batman. It's very unlike Batman, but it is well done. It's done by Scott Snyder, who's done some other stuff. He's done some good things. I think Court of Owls. but he usually doesn't finish the story well. I don't know if he doesn't have an ending in mind or something. It kind of ends up going off a cliff. The really cool ideas, and then it's the lost television show. It's
Oh
something
boy.
like that.
Sure.
So, um, but I'm enjoying it so far, and so I think it's a mini series. The finale should be this upcoming this year here. The Chainsaw Man movie, I thought that was going to
Oh
be in
yeah.
2024, but it's not. So whenever that comes out in here, um, 28 years later, one of the
Yeah.
best movie trailers I have seen in years. If
Okay.
you
I
have not
haven't seen
watched
that
the
yet.
28, oh man, put it on a big screen, turn up the sound. It's
Okay.
just, if you're not like intent, like 28 days later is great, classic.
Yes.
28 weeks later isn't. I remember that being intense. I saw that in the theater, I think by myself. And
I think I've seen it.
oh man. And apparently it's like
Okay.
out of print and everything. It's not available and stuff. I think they're gonna put it out on something now, but it's
Okay.
got Jeremy Renner in it. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. And I
2007.
remember liking it quite a lot. So yeah, 28 years later, very excited.
It does have
Definitely
Jeremy
excited
Renner.
for that.
Look at you. Rose Byrne. Oh, that's fun.
Yes, that's right. That's when she was like coming out and things. And I'm like,
Idris
I didn't know her
Elba.
name that well yet. You gotta watch it. If you like the first one, you gotta watch it. We
Looks
should try
like
to
I
find that.
can I mean, it looks like I can rent it on
Okay.
Amazon Prime or Apple TV now.
Okay.
Let's see if that's really true. But yeah, no, I never saw that.
So we'll make a point to covering that
Yeah.
before the new one comes out. And then video game wise, Judas, it's the creator of BioShock. His
Mhm.
long awaited game should be out this year. So I'm looking for that. Dune Awakening. So I've been reading Dune, watching Dune Prophecy, all this Dune stuff. Dune Awakening is finally coming to PC this spring. And
Mhm.
then the Nintendo Switch 2 for console stuff. That should be this year. There's been lots of leaks and all sorts of things recently. Waiting for an announcement and reveal any day. So, yeah, we'll see. Um, and yeah, otherwise, there's a whole bunch of stuff I intend to get to
Sure.
this year yet that I guess everybody will find out as we go along in the year because I'll be talking about it. Some anniversaries for movies and more Bond
Mhm.
books and all that sort of thing. So
Yep, I've already got Goldfinger queued up.
nice. Okay, that was 2024 and 2025. It's a lot of things.
It is a lot of things.
For all the things, they're like, there's a lot of not good things. With how much
Nobody
there
wants this.
is, yeah, with how much there is,
Bring
there's
us full
always
circle.
something. Yep. So, um, Dune Prophecy is something that I didn't know if I wanted. When it
Mhm.
was first unveiled, I had seen, was first talked about. I had seen the first Dune Part One,
Yep.
and then when I really saw a trailer, I think I'd already seen Dune Part Two. So I was definitely
Okay.
invested in Dune, but now it's
Sure.
moving to TV. It's all different. Who knows? Who knows? So I was skeptical, but I've really liked it. Been
Mhm.
continuously surprised. Um, and now we've got the final episode 6 to discuss. So if
Yes,
anybody's
the mini
missed
movie.
our previous discussions, yeah, it was a little longer, hour 20.
Mhm.
Um,
Hour
yeah. What
28.
did you Oh man. So yeah, it is.
I mean, it
Again,
is, like, an hour and a half, it's a mini movie.
see, for all the garbage, we are spoiled. Look at this. We got 6 episodes of this. It's like,
Yeah.
easily 3 movies, 4
Yes,
movies, whatever.
absolutely.
So, um, what'd you think? Episode 6. Spoilers, everyone.
Yeah, episode 6, I really enjoyed it. for two kind of broad-based and then, detailed reasons. But one, we we started off this episode like as a flashback, which I always love if it's done well. And this was really fun to go flashback basically to the first sequence of the series, which really kicked us off and was like fully action packed and plunged us into the world right away, and then get it from a different perspective and then have that keep going back and forth through the episode. I liked the continuation of mini flashbacks and callbacks to other things. So that was, I feel like, gosh, maybe like 60-70% of the episode was woven between the now and the then. And I really enjoyed that interplay. And then at the end, like just sweeping, cleaning house. Like I knew there were going to be major events happening, but seriously, like so many deaths that I didn't see
Mhm.
coming and were just like stabbing here, stabbing there, like people gone, like bold moves. And it just kept coming. And I was very surprised at this, like I said, character cleaning house. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, so I thought the end did really well at being, just keeping me going, being like, "What? This person too? This too? What? What?" So, yeah, the ending was bold, and I liked that because I liked that about the beginning as well, where, they weren't afraid to just be like, "Welcome, we killed someone."
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah,
Very
high
nice.
marks
Yeah.
for this episode.
Good. Yeah. I had heard some people say that the finale was kind of like went out on a whimper or,
Mm,
not. Yeah. And I'm like, what were you expecting? Like, you're expecting ships in battle? I don't
yeah.
know what to. It's not Game of
That's not
Thrones.
this show, yeah, and that's not
Yeah.
this show, like, this show, the warfare is waged much more, like, in the shadows, and
Yeah.
this episode was not, so that was to me like, "Whoa."
Yep. Yeah. Um, I was happy to go get some flashbacks, bring the younger actors back in, and kind
Mhm.
of continues to add depth. I think they do a good job. The actors, they feel like the same people enough to me. Sometimes
Yeah,
that's a difficult thing to achieve. We really
super
got
true.
that with Valia in
Mhm.
the when she is dealing with the virus, and she's in her mind, it's like this big storm just blowing at her and stuff, and it's like kind of interplaying between her and her younger self. And
Yeah.
I want to use that to bring up too the visuals. I thought the visuals were really clean, especially in this episode. The kind
Mhm.
of the subtleness of making it like a dreamlike thing where there's like pieces of her clothes sort of like deteriorating. So kind of like the black mistiness, like when the virus is taking over in
Mm,
the jars or something, it's
yeah.
that kind of look. And it was all just believable. Like
Mhm.
broad daylight, nice shots of ships coming into like port or whatever, into the
Mhm.
harbor. Looked really nice.
Mhm.
So some of the worries, of moving to TV, I really don't I think the cinematography is holding its own and the
Yeah.
effects are holding its own. Um, I appreciate that. So it can feel enough like it's in the same world as the high production movies that we got. So
Mhm. I agree. I agree. I think they saved, a lot of this Dune takes place in interiors, a lot of buildings, obviously inside, the sisterhood's compound, the emperors on Salusa Secundus. Um, but I think they saved exterior shots like this one, as
mhm.
the series ends with us coming to Arrakis, um, which felt natural for me, but also I had a little bit of mixed feelings about, but I'll save
I
that for.
thought of you when we went there. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a little bit of mixed feelings about going to Arrakis. I feel like it's natural for where the storyline is right now, but I do hope this won't be some, like, very long drawn out, because then I think you do run risks of, being similar to the movies, which are all in Arrakis, basically.
So
Um, but just to finish my thought super quick, sorry.
no,
I
no.
think this exterior and the first time we pull up to Salusa, I wrote about that cinematography on that planet as well. They saved big budgets and used that very wisely, I think, there to make that feel full and rich and lush, and very believable to like exterior world build. And then all of the interior stuff is so much more manageable.
Yep.
So
Practical.
anyway,
Yep. Hmm. Yeah. I mean,
Arrakis.
um, well, and on that point too with saving budget, like the ship showing
Yeah.
them move. They finally showed the ship having allowing space travel for these other for the
Yes.
smaller ships.
Yes.
So cool with it coming through
Yes.
like bending space time. It's like, yes, this feels like it could be in the movie. It looks
Yes.
grand and awesome.
Yes.
So,
Completely agree.
um, yes, Arrakis. I do think though that in something I didn't think about watching the movies, but I thought about reading the books. It kind of made more sense. Is that there's a lot of Arrakis we don't see in the movies. In the movies, often we're dealing with the deep desert and or thereabouts on the edge of. We're dealing with siege of the Fremen or something like that. But there are towns and cities and stuff on Arrakis that different people are in and stuff. And we don't really see that. Like we kind of see where the Atreides stay, and then we see like exterior where the ships are and they keep spice and stuff.
Spice
But we don't
harvesting,
see
yeah.
like shops and clubs and grocery stores
Yeah.
and like where people go and live. And we just don't experience really any of that. So if we move forward and the Arrakis we picture is the inner workings and machinations of different cities, I think it will feel completely different. And we won't have to worry about like big shots of the sweeping dunes all the time. So,
Yeah. I do think that there is enough happening off Arrakis as well that will be compelling enough to spend a significant portion of time on. We have this Arrakis storyline, and like you said, if there is something different shown about Arrakis, I will be very pleased because yeah, I don't want to spend like endless amounts of time in the desert
yeah.
spice harvesting, like, I don't want to rehash that. I think you can do some because obviously we got some big reveals about what happened to Desmond when he got swallowed by the sandworm. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So like sure you do have to spend some time out there, but in addition to this like coming to Arrakis, we have what the heck is going on Wallach 9 in the Sisterhood because Lila's body is now re-inhabited by Dorothea. She's taking command secretly, um, in terms of like Valia doesn't know, um, and is returning the school to its true path. Which I have to say, I totally forgot what her point is. Dorothea's like I totally forgot like how she differs and like what her ideas are. Um,
Well,
so we should
okay,
get back to that because I completely
okay.
forgot. But then the other one is, of course, the emperor is dead. And his lover Francesca along and a sister along with him. And the empress is just like declared basically, she's running out of the room. We can guess what she's going to go do. She's going to go alert everybody that the sisterhood killed the emperor. So they've just, made them a very convenient and easy target. So
Mm,
all of that, plot intrigue will also be happening as well.
right.
Desmond arrested Tula, his mother, and presumably I think is bringing her back to Salusa. So, that action will be there as well. So we have a lot in other places that we can look forward to as well.
Mhm. Yeah. No, I agree. Okay, yeah, so we should break down some of the things, you
Mhm.
mentioned talking about
Very large
Dorothea's
swaths of things.
vision. Um, to my understanding, always the conflict was that Valia believed in Dorothea's what's her mom's name again?
Rakella?
Raquella, yes. Valia believed in Raquella's vision, who, if you want to talk about the original purpose of, she's kind of the original. So, but she believed
Right?
in her mission to like catalog all this genetic information and to essentially find the best pairings with the usage of a forbidden
Thinking
machine,
machine, yeah.
AI, to like provide the best outcome for the Imperium and for the people
Yeah.
in the Imperium. Whereas I think Dorothea is against the use of thinking machines and that level of meddling. Whereas supposed like her idea would be we're going to use our abilities to counsel people to make better choices. And the
Okay.
continually making those better choices is going to improve the state of the Imperium.
Okay,
That
so that's kind of what I thought was basically just like no thinking machines and we should be counselors. But like seeing the novice read out of the book of Dorothea and like all of this stuff, I was like, is there more? Like, did I miss some sort of like other,
mm,
do you know what I mean? Like it just felt
I think it's like
when
eugenics or not, it's like we can
well,
improve everything through people
sure,
making better decisions. We'll tell people if they're lying. Like we want people to be honest,
sure,
and upfront, and we can let leaders know when people are being dishonest and let other people know when those leaders are being dishonest. And
sure.
like we're gonna make the make the world a happier place, you know.
Yeah, it felt very small when I thought about, like,
Uh-huh.
she's like, "I'm coming back to, re-guide the sisterhood back to the true path." And I was like, "So the true path is just, like, not."
Your path.
Yeah, exactly. It was like define an opposition, and I was like, "I how did you write a whole book about, don't do that? Like, be the sisterhood, but not like that part." You know?
Yeah. So
So,
maybe it's
yeah,
something
I
that
just
could use more clarifying. And because
yeah.
obviously that wasn't set aside and initially for us to understand because we didn't realize there was a thinking machine. We're like,
Right, right,
how are they like checking the genetic lines of people or whatever and like who's a proper match and stuff? How is that happening? But I
right,
kind of took it as like, well, like mentats are human computers. They have a trained mentat Bene Gesserit or something that's sort of like
right.
running
Well, they've got
the
other
doing
stuff.
a
They've
whole
got,
bunch of little charts for
they've got truth saying, so, like, sure, why not have somebody who's basically, yeah, like a mentat, you know what I
yeah.
mean?
Mhm. So, Alan says multi-classing. Yeah, you're mentat and a Bene Gesserit.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Oh man, Dune RPG, let's go. Dune
There we go,
D&D.
there we go. I'd do it.
Tempting. Um, yeah. So I think to me that's not a nothing deal. I mean, they were, it's the difference between like, oh, I can't give away something in Dune Part 2 yet, but it's a difference between going and like we're going to secure this person's specimen so we can make sure they have a child with this other person because
Mhm.
down the line 3 generations they're going to they could produce the right offspring that's going to provide the change and kind of leadership that's creepy as hell, like that's
It is.
like the manipulation is just another level. And
Yep,
when you take another group that like if you look at it just a more simplistic way, so it's sort of like a grand scheming central planning. We will stop at nothing to create this outcome versus no, if we make better, we provide valuable counsel, we
so people
will.
can make better
Yeah,
choices, yeah.
yeah,
The people who exist,
yes.
can make better choices. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's very, like, present versus future focused.
yeah. And
Um,
so you can see like values group thinking, you're thinking too small,
yes.
you're not thinking big enough,
Right. Right. Yeah, it's very like incremental change versus like vast, systematic overhaul kind of change.
yeah.
Um, yeah. Yeah, it definitely, it bothered me a little bit. Like I had a little
Mhm.
twinge in the episode where I was like, what is Dorothea's? point here? Is it just no
Mhm.
machines, or is it
Mhm.
anything else?
It
Because she certainly had a lot of followers,
Yeah.
in the initial flashback sequence that we saw right after, Valia ordered her to slit her own throat and then went after, the cone of her followers. There were quite a few of them. And,
Yeah.
now, of course, with the new novice, and her group, there's quite a bit of those as well.
Yeah. Well, and we had the go back to the flashback and we have the big reveal then. We'll go around in a circle and voice command everyone, use the voice on them to choose kill yourself
Too
or
vague.
join us.
Too vague.
I,
That was weird.
yeah, I wrote that in the in two. You choose, yeah. Be- I don't know how that worked because to me, the my understanding of the voice would always be like the
You could
voice. It doesn't imply you can't imply intent with it.
Yes.
It's the
You have to
literal word.
say it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like, when Valia trots it out again this episode, she, is very direct, like, "Stab him, draw your
Yeah.
blade, defend me," like, these are
Yes.
things that people can be like, "I can unhesitatingly do because I know what you
Yes.
want." Choose
Mhm.
is like, "Well, so I chose, what do
Blue,
I
my
do about
favorite
that?"
color. Yeah.
Right, yeah. It's too abstract, and, of course, all of them doing, like, the same thing then, um, when she hasn't told them, "I made Dorothea slit her own throat," or, like, stab herself in the neck or whatever, and then all of them following suit. It was just like, "Wah, too
Yeah.
not enough."
I need to watch I forgot about it. Because we had a little break, I forgot the official podcast for the show. Like sometimes they reveal little
Well,
things
right, yeah.
from HBO about it. So I need to watch that yet on this
Sure,
final
sure.
episode. And then eventually I'll get to the book or something. We'll see. But yeah, like if to me, it's like, is there something else now to the voice here that I'm not understanding?
Mhm.
Because that seems too vague. But pretty remarkable. And then the reveal of like, hey, yeah, look at all the bones that we
Yeah, the
hide
mass
beneath
grave.
under the
Ooh.
fountain, hmm
Yeah, that was
or the
creepy.
pond. hmm Yep. So the sisterhood is just in shambles. I mean,
Yeah,
like
total chaos.
Valia and Tula are on the other side of the Imperium. You know,
Mhm.
Valia is still like walking around like she, owns the place, but she, like as you said, the Empress now is going to say that look, a sister killed the Emperor,
Yeah.
and
Another
and
Valia
now,
ally is gone.
yep. And meanwhile, on their home world, there, it's new leadership, shocking revelation of who you have been following,
Yep.
and I don't know, like so it's going to be very interesting to find how this settles, like
Mhm.
how this power struggle comes to a head. You
Mhm.
know, because I really have no idea who ends up winning in this case, and,
Sure.
so yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because Lila here, as you see her on our screens, it's not settled that like Dorothea is going to be in her body. You know what I mean? She's
Like,
obviously had other people
forever.
like right, like Mother
Yeah.
Rakella did break through for quite a
Yep.
while. So, maybe a return there, maybe we still aren't quite positive what happened to Lila herself. Maybe
Yep.
somebody else is gonna come in, who knows? So that could be an interesting point for next season.
Yep.
Um, there's also the other novice who I forget her name, who didn't have all the dreams, who is Lila's friend.
Kinda let her go accidentally.
Yes, let her well, I
Yeah.
mean, dum-dum, you can't just let
Yeah. Well,
somebody's
loosen the
wrist
straps a little
restraints
bit. Yeah.
classic mistake. But
Yeah.
anyway, so she is not down with Dorothea's, like, taking over her friend's body, and I don't feel like she's into
Right.
her, like, being mother superior, but I think she's just interested in Lila coming back. I don't really think, like, if Lila came back, but all the dust, still shook out the same way, she would be interested in a sisterhood with Valia as Mother Superior again. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
she's not just like, "Cool, forget the whole thing, Lila's back." She'd just be like, "I'm interested in getting Lila back, and then I think I'm out."
Alan says
So,
Sister Jen. Jen
Sister
sounds right.
Jen, thank you. Appreciate that. Yes.
So the thing with Jen is she's just too much of a free thinker to be there.
Yeah.
Like she thinks on her own, and I'm guessing that's part of why she didn't share that. She just is not in it. Sisterhood above all. It's just
Yeah.
not her, she's
Yeah.
not there for that. So she's interesting being there. And I think you're right. She's totally like cares about Lila. I want Lila back. But like as far as who runs this and who I want to believe in with that, yeah. Uh,
Nobody at the current
yeah.
moment.
hmm Because it was weird for a moment. It's like, well, you never really got along with like Tula and all that sort of thing and their sort of methods, but then you're seem pretty against, what's happening with Dorothea. So she is in the middle here. She's stuck.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think
yep.
she kind of reluctantly was on, like, Tula's side because she saved Lila, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And she's working to, like, continue to do that, so she's like, "Yeah, like, we can have an alliance right now, but I don't like you, and I don't wanna,
Yeah.
like, stay here under a school you run."
Yeah. Mhm. Um, so that's all the craziness going on with the sisterhood. Um, we have, yes, Tula going to, because we find out that was a big reveal in the last episode
Yep.
that Desmond is the son of an Atreides and a Harkonnen,
Mhm.
and here we are with Tula. So we get the
Mhm.
backstory of her giving up giving up her baby, giving up
Ugh,
Desmond. What do you think?
that
What do you
was
think of that whole scene?
that was gut-wrenching. Again, as a parent, like, thinking about, what would you do for your kid, and I totally got why she did it because, she could already see Valia scheming. She was like thinking about like this thinking machine who was like, this is all like the things that, could happen. And Valia was obviously going to use that. And she was like, no, I want you to live your own life. Like, I don't want you to just be pushed around. Like, kind of, she's been pushed around by Valia and all of her plans. She's like, eventually I submitted to it, and I am the same as my sister, but I want you to make your own choices and live how you want to live.
You know, but as it's true today, a lot of people live with their own self-imposed shackles,
Mhm.
and Tula is in the same freaking boat. You are enslaving yourself. You can't blame your sister forever. She could have this baby and say, "Peace out.
Yeah.
Gone. Goodbye. I have something else to live for now. We will make
Mhm.
it somewhere else in the universe. Like it will be okay. We don't have
Mhm.
to." But people just, it's like we're locked into, oh, the family history and like we have to avenge this, and then we have
The
like,
family
no,
loyalty,
you
yeah.
don't have to do any of this shit.
Well,
So
yes, but also like she acknowledges in this episode, she's like, I am the same as my sister. Like, I've been saying it's her, but like I like it too.
yeah,
That
well,
was a
then it's
big
on
moment for me
her to
to
give
be
up.
when yeah.
Yes,
I feel like it was a combo. Like, her younger self couldn't admit that about her own
sure,
self,
yes,
and so she sort
right,
of like externally blamed Valia and got like very like, oh my god, I'm gonna get sucked right back in once she starts with all these plans for my kid.
yeah,
But as her older self, she was like, no, I mean, it was her, but it was me too. Like, I
yeah,
am a wolf. I don't care about the carnage. And so I think she was sort of worried that she would pass that on to her kid,
sure,
that she would be like, I will also teach you to do these things without remorse and not care about the body counts. And, maybe you're a better
yeah.
person away from me, but she couldn't say it out loud.
That's a good point. So, as for her a lot of her life, the scapegoat is her older sister,
Yep.
and that's gonna be her rationale for getting rid of her baby too. But then
Yeah.
as someone older then can finally admit to herself and aloud that that's just not really it's just an excuse.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah,
yeah.
that was just hard to watch, I think, because,
Yeah.
obviously you would think how hard that would be to give up your child and then also to like take a stillborn child and pretend that that's yours. Like, oof, that's a
Yeah.
heavy day. Like I can't imagine the emotions of that. So,
It is amazing, Andrea, what parenthood does to make
it
you look at things there. It's
it
incredible.
really
Like,
it really does. It
it's
really
just
does.
like the rising like anger in me or whatever. It's like,
Yep.
how could you? Like just no, this yep,
Yeah.
see things differently. So
So, yeah, that
um
was definitely key because, early in the episode we got they like, we're going to remake the sisterhood and we can have the baby together and we'll raise it and I definitely was left wondering. I was like, what happened? Like
yeah,
how did you not
right.
raise this baby together? So that was a key question for me going into the episode. And
Yep.
then, finding all that out was really um fitting this episode.
Yep. And then she goes and finds Desmond. I was like, "Oh,
Yes.
that was the one writing thing that I can think of at the moment. I mean, particularly but from this episode, but in general
Yeah.
from the show, that's, like, convenient, you know? She's able to
Yes.
go and then just find her son like that.
Right as he tries to kill
Um,
Valia with the virus. Yeah.
yeah. So, we're in a show
Yes.
that I feel like does pretty good in not doing those things, you
Yes.
know? So but it was a good moment between I mean, so it's obviously a cool confrontation between Valia and Desmond. You know, we get that sort of thing. We have Tula helping Valia through it because she saw now how her fellow sister Mentat died,
Mhm.
trying to like rid,
Fight
you
it.
know, yeah, trying to what's the word, transmute the
Yes. Mhm.
virus, you know, and that not working, but realizing like just how it feeds on fear, which
Mhm.
before I might have taken as a thing as like uh a bit mystical, but I saw a thing recently about like the physical effects of fear and like how they could take sweat from people that were scared and then not scared and then have people that had no idea what they were smelling even smell the two things the two
Yeah,
sweat and they can identify the fear they don't know that that's what they're smelling is fear
but it's
but their
different.
body reacts to the
Yeah.
thing that was experiencing fear as well.
Yep.
So it's like a contagion. Fear spreads and it's a
It's like a
physical thing.
physical. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm. So I thought that was cool, but um lends credence to this kind of thing, I guess.
Yeah.
And so that was all fun. And then yeah, it was kind of a emotional, weird reunion, you know, like as the thing, like how is this going to go between Tula and Desmond? How would you know you can't really have expectations for that, how that's gonna, you know,
Yeah, it
crumble or
was
whatever.
it was a lot to have happen and process for us and for the characters because, Desmond just thinks like, "Hey, I'm getting rid of Valia." He's injured too, and he's, like, burning inside as well, so he's, like, kind of watching this happen, but also in agony, and then Valia beats it, so I'm sure he's like, "Damn, like, my trick didn't work." She comes over to kill him, and then he watches Tula use the voice on her, which,
Yep.
damn, Valia was not expecting. I knew that that was gonna be, like, a thing, and so, watching this, like, sisterly confrontation, getting the, like, big reveal, "This is my mom," and she's the sister to the mother superior. Holy shit. You know, all of
Yeah.
this stuff happening right at the same time had to be like a long, I don't know, just like a long roller coaster packed into a short moment.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. I thought it was handled well because yeah, you're right. It was a lot to happen. Cool
Yeah.
confrontations and yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, now he's got her. He's got Tula at least.
Yep.
And I think that's gonna like keep him a wee bit occupied
Right.
next season, and kind of just draw him a little bit maybe away from like the Empress and her take over the throne kinds of goals.
Yeah. She's really like, kind of all steam ahead, bullheaded sort of thing. So like it's going to be interesting to see how he reacts to because they have a physical relationship now. Kind of strange. Plus, then he's
Yeah.
like captain of her guard stuff or whatever. So it's gonna be I don't know what to expect from that either. You know, it's not gonna go smoothly. I feel like whatever happens,
Yes.
it's not gonna go smoothly.
Their plans unexpectedly went smoothly. Obviously, like I said earlier, the Empress finding the Emperor and the sister and
Yeah,
stabbing her. Whoa, I did
we
not
should
see that coming.
yeah we should talk about that all that stuff. I mean, the whole
Yeah.
takedown of the emperor, like the whole like okay, the emperor is done. We gotta so we're gonna come out and tell him you've been manipulated this whole time. You're weak.
Oof.
Your time is up. All this sort of
She was
thing.
so harsh. I mean, I knew she was trying to get arrested, but I was like, "Oh my god, just beating the man like,
Yeah.
with a sack of potatoes until he's dead." Like, it was so much.
It's been an interesting role for Mark Strong because he
Mhm.
often plays, very
Stronger.
strong characters. And so it's someone that you kind of go in with the expectation. And it takes a while to be like, no, he's just like he has to have advice for everything. He really doesn't have the backbone. He doesn't have the wherewithal to set the plan in motion
Mhm.
at all for whatever his goal is, and to know
No.
that goal and define it. And so it's always wishy-washy. And yeah, he's rife for manipulation. And then he gets
Yeah.
manipulated left and right.
Yeah, it was very poignant and true, kind of his parting line talking about realizing he's never had a single moment of freedom in his life. And it's like, you haven't, dude. You know, everybody in your life pushed you this way and that, and you just kind of went along with what you wanted. And so it wasn't always what everybody wanted, but it was what somebody else wanted. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
there were different puppet masters at different times, but there was always someone.
Yep.
Um, and yeah, his only act of freedom is killing himself,
Yeah.
which I didn't see coming. I thought, Francesca was going to do it. I thought she was maybe laying down like a fake, something of
Mm.
poison to like catch him off guard and then she'd, embrace him with the real one.
Oh,
And no, that was not the case. He killed himself and then damn, here comes the Empress coming in and stabbing Francesca with the poison. Yeah, like I said, there was a lot of stabbing this episode and I did not
yeah.
see it all coming.
Yeah.
And we
I
should
didn't
talk about
expect any of
Desmond
that.
stabbing too. We should talk about Desmond stabbing too, because I didn't see that either. Like,
Desmond stabbing?
yeah, Sister Theodosia, so they jailbreak. Yeah, winding
Oh,
back, the Empress, in addition to causing chaos over here with the Haviko and Francesca, arrests her own daughter for trying to
yeah.
free Kieran Atreides because, that's not okay because he stoked a rebellion. Let, debate the merits of how righteous it is later. But she locks up her own daughter. Inez is freed through Valia's plan and Sister Theodosia's ability to transform into anybody. So the idea is they leave a fake Inez in the prisons and they jailbreak her. And so that's what I thought was happening. And then suddenly, Desmond gets wind of this plan and he's going in to lock it all down. And one of the supposedly injured guards in the jailbreak rises up and stabs him. And it's Theodosia.
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming. I didn't see it
No.
coming. It was so good. I was just like, oh my God, what is he going to tell him about Mother Superior? Like, he's going to
Mhm.
find out where she's going. And then, surprise. Oh, so good. And she's
Yeah. Well,
alive. 'cause they were like he was like, "Take it to the cells." So I'm
Yeah.
assuming Theodosia makes it for at least a little while.
Yep. Yeah, we talked about that before. It's like, oh, when this, that was like that was the biggest problem with the series was the weak attempt to like have Theodosia expose her abilities for us
Yeah.
earlier on in a few episodes back. We're both like, I'm not sure that makes
Yeah.
sense. Like she's gonna go through this
Yes.
pain and suffering for closure for Valia because that's
Yeah.
a expression of her
Weird.
loyalty now. I
Weird.
don't
Yeah.
know. But we knew, of course, it was a mechanism to set up the proper use. When is it actually going to
Right.
matter and be used?
Right.
And yeah, it was sufficiently surprising, I think. So
Yeah. That I would say, is one of the series' only true, like, stumbling blocks was early Theodosia.
yeah.
The first couple was great, like, she came with Valia to the planet to befriend the princess. She's like, "We need to get her to our school." I bought all of that. And then suddenly it was revealed she has a power, she doesn't wanna use it, and Valia's like, "Maybe you have to, but I don't want to." And then suddenly, like, she was, like, resisting Valia, but then she used her power to this, like, middle portion where she really wasn't with Valia, and she was questioning a bunch of her choices, and then suddenly she did it, like we said, for Valia's personal closure, and then she, like, switched to, like, anything for the sisterhood, like, "I'm in, I'll use my powers anytime." That was weird. That was mishandled. I don't know if it was, like, a bad edit, bad writing, they just
Hmm.
didn't have enough time to, like, make a logical leap to do it, but
Hmm.
the ending now works because, yeah, that was a very surprising use of her power.
I I wonder if it was they were in the writing room for a while, like all around the table. So how can we set this up? How can
Right.
we have
How does she
where can
progress
we
here?
show her power
Yeah.
and, be okay using it? Like, I don't know. It would make sense from a like a Valia standpoint to threaten somehow or something like that, make
Right.
it. But yeah, I don't know. Hmm. Alan, what do you did you I think Alan shared maybe the wrong thing at first. I didn't know. It's like, are we switching up gifts to let us know that we're, going on 2 hours or whatever it
Oh,
is?
it's another
Oh.
judge. It's the judge from The Good Place. Yeah, Ellen.
Uh,
I love it.
let's see.
But yes, we
Um,
should we should bring it to a close.
yeah, so we covered a lot, I think. We left in a place where we got answers to a number of things. We saw
Mhm.
how, we see the virus and how it can be defeated, that feeds on fear, that, the pond was full of bones. They were made to choose between Valia's leadership or get out of here. We see who does Desmond's origins, who his mom is.
Mhm.
We're set up now with like the Empress is left. She has her commander yet slash lover. Valia is off trying to find who this other party is, this other interested
Yes.
party that's trying to
That
take
was
down the
crazy.
sisterhood. That's like really set Desmond on his path here to begin with, it seems.
Yeah.
So we have I feel a good combination of things that we learned that were shocking and important, and then new questions and paths forward to explore.
Mhm.
So we're properly set up.
Yeah, I think that central mystery for the next season was really interesting to me to see what finally happened, to go through the entirety of how did Desmond survive this, like, sandworm. Oh my god, there's a thinking machine on the other side. Those are the eyes, and there's, like, a hooded, cloaked figure implanting this machine-based virus in him. Who is that? What is who has a thinking machine? How are we gonna find them? That was
Hmm.
and what is the goal? What was the goal with doing that? you know?
Yep.
Um, yeah, I loved that. That was such like a great like, whoa.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, excited to see that next season.
And when is Kieran Atreides gonna find out that he is following along and helping the Harkonnen sister that killed
Oh,
his entire
yeah. So
family?
I mean, he obviously knows like Valia Harkonnen is Valia Harkonnen. Do you know what I
Does
mean?
he
Like,
though?
yeah, because well,
Okay,
Desmond is like, you should turn on the
I guess.
sisterhood because
Yes, that's right. Oh,
and
yes.
he's like, I trust me, I have no love for a Harkonnen. Like, I'm not
Yes.
gonna, side. I'm not gonna protect her, but also like you're protecting the Emperor and the Emperor's dick.
Yes.
Um. So yeah, so he definitely knows she's a Harkonnen, but he doesn't know that like she and Tula carried this whole thing out. He speaks about
Yeah.
it like, "Oh boy, this was a long time ago." He's like, "My father told me a
Yeah.
story about it."
Yeah.
So to him, I think this is, something that happened, and to know that like he is with somebody who helped orchestrate that, that's going to be crazy, I think.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Well, I like this the show a lot. I really hope
Me
it
too.
does well in it's on streaming. I hope it keeps going and people watch it and everything, gets good word of mouth, whatever.
Mhm.
And I hope they make a season 2 and you know just do it justice. If you don't think you're going to get a season 3, just tell it as it should. I don't really want them to
Oh,
kind of rush and try to wrap up something or another.
sorry. They announced last week that there will be a season 2.
Okay.
So
Okay,
it's so
good.
they kept it, they kept it pretty close. I think they did it right before the last episode they announced it.
Okay, good. I didn't
2026.
perfect. Seems fair.
Mhm.
We had that the end of this year of my Dune game coming up in the spring, and then next year we got more Dune Prophecy, and
Mhm.
then probably the year after that is the next Dune movie. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they'll keep it going.
hmm Okay, we covered a lot tonight.
Mhm.
Hope everybody enjoyed it. Um, please like, share, and subscribe. Leave comments on your favorite things from last year and what you're looking forward to this year. Let us know what you thought of Dune Prophecy and the Dune universe at large. We're available on all the podcast places, or a whole bunch of them, anyways. So take your favorite. The video version is available on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts. We'd appreciate a review if you can. On Spotify, there is like a support button if you really want. That would be like basically helping pay for Restream. That lets us stream to Twitch and X and Kick and YouTube all at once. That type of thing. So yes, that's all that. Next week, hopefully, we'll be back with an Ohio anime
Mhm.
that will live stream on this channel, but then the podcast will go out on the same podcast directories. But then the YouTube on demand video will be on the Ohio anime page. Um, we'll see what we get up to with that. Probably solo leveling. So we got solo leveling. We'll recap season 1 maybe, and then give our impressions on the beginning of season 2. And then yeah, we'll see what happens with this show the week after that. We got Dr. No to talk about. We've got
Mhm.
A Knight's Tale to talk about. We've got
That's true. I forgot about
um
that. I love that.
and what else? We got be plenty of things. We're talking about seeing more movies now, so we'll have more movies
Mhm.
to talk about and watch. So yeah. Anyways, that'll do it from us. Thank you, Andrew, for being here, and we'll see you
Of
next time.
course. As always. Cheers, everybody.